I think my whole talk was how we do that, so.
Hi, my name is Ashley Fong. I have a grassroots anti-human trafficking nonprofit. I've met a few of you. I wanted to say thank you for outlining the importance of the intersectionality between marginalized people within our community. I am half Vietnamese, so a lot of my platform for bringing awareness to sex trafficking within Connecticut is to highlight the Asian massage parlors, because they're hiding in plain sight. However, in my research, I found that not only are they trafficking the Asian women within these spaces, they're also trafficking white, lower income, addicted women. They're also trafficking Hispanic, Russian, and so I just wanted to see if you could comment on ways in which we could bring empathy, because that's really where our organization is working now, is to show, yes, these places have been in business for a while. Just because they're normalized does not mean it's not a crime, does not mean there's not victims. So I was hoping you could comment on that.
I mean, part of that, thank you Ashley for the work that you do, is to bring awareness, right, that these spaces exist and that these are not one-off events, but they're part of a much longer history of sexualization that are based on the ways in which women have been constructed in this country, or in kind of the Western view of certain kind of women. And in order to widen, I think, the empathy and the capacity to understand that this, Asian massage parlors don't affect only Asians, right? The victims of these spaces aren't actually only women, right? So those are the kind of information that I think those of us who are not deep in the research or the activism need to hear, reckon with, and understand, and thereby amplifying that work. But a lot of it has to do with the earlier point that I said. We have to kind of unlearn a lot of our assumptions, because that allow us to be complicit, to be quiet, to stay neutral on a lot of things that need our attention and our voices.
Yeah, I would echo what was just said, but if you haven't read the book Cast by Isabel Wilkerson, you need to read it. And if you don't like reading at a university, there's a new movie called Origin. I think it just came out on the book, and it talks about how we are all casted and placed into different levels of hierarchy. What you're dealing with is probably the most significant, if not probably one of the most, if not the most significant issue of our day, and yet, while there are a lot of good organizations doing some good work, it's clearly not enough. I know a lot of Christian endeavors that are trying to tackle it. I don't know what your faith background is, but the complexity of the matter and the network and the system that they've created in order to be able to hide, and not even just hide in plain sight, but just exist in plain sight, just shows the kind of evil that we've become desensitized to. So I think the work that you're doing is important. Finding a coalition of other organizations to do that with is probably going to be the most helpful for you, so you don't feel alone. And knowing that you aren't alone, not just around this country, but around the world. And if there's, I can connect you with some people after, I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to mention Talitha Kum. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's an international network to combat trafficking. And actually, Marilyn's sister heads up the international effort. So if you just type that in, it's Talitha. I think it's KUM, but it'll come.
I belong to the this archdiocese Catholic Social Justice Committee. They have worked with the trafficking special women in relation to anti-Asian racism. One of the heart of the protest against anti-Asian racism is the protest against associating a human being with a virus, and that that has extended to associating human being, especially women, less than human, something as an object. That's usually they put it in a kind of in a political type of phrase. I'm not a virus. So that hashtag is more than talking about anti-Asian racism, but much wider. That we are human beings, created image like as God. We're not a thing. We're not a virus. We're not an object.